because it's getting a little cold here in October. It's not cold at all. Goodness. What's up, everybody? Chris Ward here, broker in charge, Eagle Realty here in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Real Q&A. The masses have been waiting for it because it's been a little while since I actually had the. I just didn't make time. Let's just be honest. Let's be honest. I need to be better and more consistent with content. I think we all do. I just need to be better. If I'm going to start something, I got to keep going with it. I got to finish it out strong. I got to get my videographer to stop dancing over there and bobbing and agreeing with me saying that I'm slack. But I always be slack with this. And I really like this concept too, because what this is real Q&A, real estate answers live, trying to answer some of your questions, buyers, sellers, realtors. I try to answer at least 3 questions per episode, some that you submit or from my experience of like working in the industry for a little over 15 years and just trying to really provide some value for you. So if you're a buyer, if you're a seller, if you're a real estate agent and you have a question, whether it's career related or related to a situation with buyer or seller, I will do my best to answer it. And if I can't answer it, that's why they created Google. So I will try and find the answer for you if I don't have a personal experience. But I do have some questions today actually submitted to me, or a couple of them were. And some of them actually a little subjective, I will say, maybe is the thing. And by the way, we're on Instagram and we're on Facebook Live, and this will be re-uploaded to YouTube later on. But so you can ask questions during the episode. I'm not really doing like Q&A during the episode. Maybe we get to that point. I would probably, if you can still submit questions as it's streaming, and I'll collect those and we'll get to them by next week. But my first question was about for buyers. If in our region, it's kind of regional specific, so this isn't all buyers across the country, but golf carts. Golf carts are a big thing here in North Myrtle Beach area. I don't know in the town or beach city that you live in, coastal towns. You usually see them a little bit more in the coastal towns. But golf carts have become, I mean, over the years, just, you know, a phenomenon, a sea of golf carts. As you go to the beach, you get parking at the beach, or that kind of stuff. And we have that question asked a lot with properties down here that we sell, like, can I have a golf cart there, whether it's a condo, a townhome, a house. And a lot of times you see this where HOAs will not allow golf carts, will not allow owners to have golf carts. I think some of them are getting a little more slack. It's a little bit easier, obviously, the closer you are to the beach, to make that argument to your HOA that you should be allowed to have a golf cart. But because some people have both, you know, 2 cars and 1 golf cart, parking becomes an issue. Parking's always kind of that issue with golf carts, and then of course cross streets and like the actual legality of what you're allowed to do, on the golf cart itself. As far as like where you're allowed to drive. So some suggestions when you're looking to buy, when you're trying to find out if golf carts are allowed or not. Did Sweet Home Alabama just start? I have no clue where it's coming from. I have no clue where it's coming from. That's why we do this live for this. If you're hearing Sweet Home Alabama, we don't know where it's coming from. So hold on 1 second. There it was. You know what? I found it. It was coming from Spotify. Somehow Spotify decided to play Sweet Home Alabama in the middle of real Q&A. What are we talking about? We're talking about golf carts with buyers. That was so weird, and I don't know if anybody could hear it. It's more embarrassing if you couldn't hear it playing. Anyway, because I promise you it was. So golf. We've lost control. We've lost control of the show. The show's gone. Yeah, bring it back. Bring it back. Whew. Bring it back. Bring it back. We're back. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hold on. I'm bringing it back. So, I'm sorry if you didn't hear Sweet Home Alabama. So buyer golf carts, talking about golf carts for buyers. So make sure you check when you're working with your agent, make sure they check the policies on if you are wanting a golf cart. If you want a golf cart, make sure you check beforehand as you're looking at property if that's a thing. Some alternatives though, and I was talking with another one of my agents about this the other day. Yeah, I'm looking at the comments. I was talking with one of my other agents, and we were talking about some of the alternatives as far as like parking goes. Obviously, if there's no HOA, you shouldn't have a problem with having a golf cart. Whether it's with a house, condos, townhomes, that's when you start running into parking. There are storage facilities, lots of storage facilities around our area. That's one option that you could do off-site parking, or if you have a friend, neighbor, or something like that, that lives around where you're purchasing. Obviously, you could have kind of that shared thing. You could also rent golf carts while you're in town. If it's temporary, sometimes the HOAs don't mind that as well. You can have a parking pass for that for a temporary short time. So that's something to look into as well. But honestly, if you're wanting to own a golf cart here at the beach, just make sure on the front end you're communicating that with your real estate agent. You're looking at communities, or you're looking at properties that, like I said, don't have an HOA or don't have that restriction on their parking lots. It's just a lot of front end knowledge. And there, like I said, there are some alternatives to keeping your golf cart off site as well from a parking standpoint that you might be able to work into being able to have one. My seller question is talking about the difference between an appraised value and a market value. So I get this a lot. Agents get this a lot. We talk about it a lot, especially when there's an up market, is talking about the difference between an appraised value and what market value is. So a lot of times if you're at a listing presentation, you're talking with a realtor, they're going to tell you your market value for your property, versus when a lender has somebody apply for a loan for a house, they send out an appraiser to get the appraised value, which is what they base their loan off of on the property. Now, you've probably seen some funny infographics about how a realtor sees a house, how an appraiser sees a house, how you see your house, and how a buyer or investor sees your house. And it really does vary perception. An appraisal is good really for the day that it's done. They are using market comps, recent market comps. They try to use geographically local market comps as well, but may not be in your neighborhood. It may be around, using similar square footage models to derive a value based on what has sold recently. How this can vary, even though it should be close and in line with market value, how this can vary is that your market value may move quicker than your appraised value, since appraised value is based on comp data over the last 3 to 6 months and gives them kind of an average cost of solds in the past few months. Your market value could have moved quicker than that. If in an appreciating market, in a seller's or a hot market, the appreciation and your market value of your home may move quicker than your appraised value. Where this becomes an issue is when you have a hot market for sellers and the market value has moved your property up, but you have somebody who wants to get a loan on your property and they have to rely on an appraiser to give their opinion based on their research to the loan, and they may come up with a lower value than where the market has moved to. Sometimes that happens, and we have to figure out how to fit that gap or get a better appraiser or submit some other comps, because you can submit more recent comps maybe than what they used or what they found as the appraiser, and try and argue that value. But we see that a lot in up market. So just knowing the difference between market value is based on market movement and where we see it going and trending, versus appraised value is a little bit more comp based, and it could be like a 3 to 6 month range of comps in your geographic area. So keep that in mind for sellers in that difference. And then for my real estate agents out there, if you're a realtor and you're watching this, I'm going to wave it. Look at it. I'm waving at you. I think I just accidentally flipped the screen. Didn't mean to do that. So I'm having all kinds of errors in the show. I just flipped the screen around. So for realtors, I get this question more recently than any other, especially from some of my people who have been in the business for a long time. And they ask me, why should I do more content? Why should I do more content? Because content is king. Content is winning. Content is how we now are found, are searched, prove our expertise, provide value to the customer. See, we used to be the gatekeepers for information as far as the MLS, what's for sale on the market, what homes are available. We used to be those gatekeepers in the real estate industry. No longer. The information is way too readily available. We have too many buyers that come to us that already have found the homes or 3 homes that they want to look at and potentially make an offer on. What they're going to trust you for is your expertise and what kind of value you bring to the transaction. Content is a way to show your value, is to show how you make the process better, how your expertise needs to be trusted, how you can make this an easy buy or an easy sell for them as far as the experience. And all of your content, video, audio, written, needs to point to you as a real estate agent of how in tune and in touch you are to providing value for your consumers. So when I say more content, and what's great is it's basically free for the most part for you to do this, to market yourself, to build your brand, to build your business on the foundation of putting out consistent content across all the 3 major platforms. That is a way that you can win in real estate. And really, beforehand, you couldn't, without a big budget, get your name, get your brand, get your business out there and show that you could provide value if they hire you, if they can find you. Now, with all these platforms available to us, we have the ability to put out tons of content. It's just taking time and energy, and you can build a brand and build your business on that foundation. So more content, yes, do it. Do your Instagram lives, do IGTV, do Facebook lives, YouTube. Make sure your podcast out there. Alexa flash briefings. Are you writing a blog of value? Do you have a website? There's so much there. I'd love to help you. Let me know if I can help. All right, I'm gonna end this real Q&A. This has been an adventure. And it couldn't have gone any other way, because you know what, it was my fault for not staying consistent with it. So we had to make this one a little bit lively. So I hope you join us next time. Real Q&A, submit your questions. And oh, I'm waving. I gotta wave. I like the little wave function. Waving. And let me just check comments. If you have anything. Oh, look at you. That's funny. If you have any questions that you have as a seller, as a buyer, or as a real estate agent for your career, I would love to help answer them. We will talk at you next time. Wow.